Okay.
Good morning, Unity Church in Albany. Good morning to Unity Church in Albany, and good morning from Unity Church in Albany. Begin with a song, Everything I Need to Know. 1, 2, 3.
Hopefully you guys will bear with me as I'm platform assistant for the first time this morning. So welcome to Unity Church in Albany, and we're going to start with announcements. So today's speaker is our very own Geyer, and he's spoken here before. He's a much loved speaker, teacher, and member of the church, and we are delighted that he's here. And a few words from the board. As Reverend Roger mentioned, Reverend Steve is now officially our senior minister, and that means contract is signed, sealed, and delivered, and he's on his way to Albany even as we speak. He left Missouri yesterday and is driving to Albany at a reasonable pace, and we expect him to be here early next week. Yay! We have found and moved furniture and other essentials into a lovely apartment not far from the church. I actually went by there this morning. It's 12 minutes from here to there. And so when Steve arrives next week, his new home will be eagerly awaiting him. The board also had its first regularly scheduled board meeting via Zoom on Thursday with Reverend Steve in attendance, and he was full of good ideas and inspiring words. We are so glad to have him coming on board as our senior minister at this time, and we are excited for all of you to have a chance to get to know him. In this time of, as Heather referred to, the new bug in town, otherwise known as COVID-19, getting to know Reverend Steve, who wants to be called Steve, by the way, will be done remotely at first, for the most part. He has a lot of great ideas for creating a sense of close social and personal connection at a time when we need to be physically distant. And one of those ideas is to have Zoom buddies. And
there's a slide on that. The
about
Zoom
Zoom
slide.
buddies.
Coming up.
Sounds pretty cool.
You keep talking.
Okay, so we'll get that slide up in just a second, and there we go. So be a Zoom buddy, and there'll be more about that. And also, if you have ideas about ways to create a sense of connection while we're Zooming one another, please let Steve or Roger or any member of the board hear from you. And then Reverend Steve will be leading next week's service. A couple of our other schedules had to change. So John Welshon was scheduled to come on April 5th. He's going to reschedule for a later date. Is it Simon or Sima? Sima and Shannon Plummer were slated to be here on April 19th. They have canceled their trip to Albany, but have very generously offered to do an online concert for us that evening from 6:30 to 8:30 p.m. You can sign up on the website. A sliding scale love donation from $10 to $30 is suggested. If finances are an issue for you, please let Steve or Roger or a member of the board know, and we will see what could be done. Joshua Ignacio was also scheduled to come in April, and that will have to be rescheduled for a later date. As far as our Sunday services are concerned, at this point we plan to continue to live stream our services. Even though we miss seeing all of you here, we deeply appreciate everyone's willingness to go with the flow during this time and not come to the sanctuary. And our chaplains miss you, our prayer chaplains. We know that those who experienced one-on-one unity prayer with them may also be missing them. And so here's a way we can still have one-on-one contact with a unity chaplain. 2 easy ways. You can send an email to unityalbanypraise@yahoo.com, and or you can call 518-453-3603 extension 13 and leave a message. You can ask for a call back or simply leave a prayer request. If you want a response, please let us know. If you want a phone or an email response, and one of the chaplains will get back to you. And that, I believe, is all of our announcements for this morning. Okay. I see why people flip the pages up here.
Oh, you don't need us yet. Got the other words.
So let's read our mission statement together. The mission of Unity Church in Albany is to awaken to and embrace the divine essence of all beings through prayer and service. And our vision statement. We celebrate oneness with Spirit and with the divine nature of all. Okay, so the next thing is about prayer chaplains. We have wonderful prayer chaplains, and this is the part of the service where we usually ask any prayer chaplains who are present to stand up, and we tell congregants that they'll be available at the back sanctuary. However, as I just told you in the announcements, you can contact the prayer chaplains for one-on-one prayer either by email or by phone. And I'm sure they would be delighted to hear from you. Okay.
Who are they? Who are the prayer
There's a
chaplains?
lot of them.
Oh, right.
There's a lot.
Okay.
The question was, who are the prayer chaplains? There's a long list. Okay, now, when it came about that I was going to be your platform assistant today, I thought about what message needs to be conveyed in this time. And what came to mind is that whenever I had a bad dream as a child and went in to see my mom, she would always recite the 23rd Psalm to me. And so I have, with hopefully a little poetic license from the psalmist and from my mother. I've taken the 23rd Psalm and unitized it a little bit. So let's just center in for a minute. Father, Mother God, Great Spirit, you are our shepherd. We shall have all that we need. You maketh us to lie down in green pastures. You leadeth us beside the still waters. You restoreth our souls. You lead us up in the paths of righteousness for your name's sake. Yea, though we walk through the valley of the shadow of death, we shall fear no evil, for you are with us. Your guidance and your protection, they comfort us. You prepare a table before us in the presence of those we might think of as enemies, but are really manifestations of you. You anoint our heads with oil. Our abundance runneth over. Surely goodness and mercy shall follow us all the days of our lives, and we can never be separated from you, but shall dwell in your house forever. Amen. And the daily word. I have a different daily word than is what is on the screen.
Look after. Should be there. Should have the date on it.
Yeah?
Do whichever one you have for the state.
Okay.
What do you want?
What's in front of me is the word power.
Yeah.
I take dominion over my thoughts, words, and actions. The power of God protects me. Today, I hear with renewed understanding this line from James Dillett Freeman's Prayer for Protection. In a growing awareness of oneness with my source, I realize that the power of God works through me and as me, rather than simply in me or for me. I embody divine power by choosing words that affirm the truth that I am a spiritual being as I navigate the valleys and peaks of my human experience. By expressing my power, I am claiming dominion over my words and thoughts. I affirm statements of truth while releasing negative thoughts and ideas. I think and speak with the authority of my Christ presence. And from 2 Timothy chapter 1, verse 7, for God did not give us a spirit of cowardice, but rather a spirit of power and of love and of self-discipline. I take dominion over my thoughts, words, and actions. Yes, ready for another song. Play musical books up here.
Here's a song by our friend Daniel Name. Whether you've heard it, you may have heard that Daniel's doing a free concert each night until the end of the month on Facebook Live. So search for Daniel on Facebook and you'll find a link to that at 6:30 to 7 each evening. There we go. And I can start even on camera. Right? The correct key for all of you out there is B flat. 1, 2, 3, 4.
God, you are every mountain. God, you are every ocean. God, you are every canyon, every inch of earth and sky. God, you are belong. Everything I know is you. 'Cause you are the very breath I breathe. And your perfect love created me. Everything I see, everything I do, everything I am is you. Everything above, everything below, everything I know is you. Everything I see, everything I do, everything I am is you. Everything above, everything below, everything I know is you.
Okay. So, again, welcome everybody who's watching on YouTube, and a special welcome to anyone who's watching our service for the first time. We're glad you're here, and we will be glad to talk with you if you have any questions or comments or concerns. Please feel free to call or email the church or any members of the board, all of whom would be glad to speak with you. And we're going, as I mentioned earlier, our guest today is Geyer, who's waving from the pews, but you can't see him. Also about prayer, as I mentioned earlier, we are a praying congregation, and all requests for prayers received by email or calls are prayed over by our prayer chaplains for the month, and then they get forward to Unity silent prayer in Unity Village, where they prayed over for another full month. At this point, we usually invite those who are attending our service to join us downstairs for fellowship after the service, but since we're live streaming, we've modified our invitation. We invite you to each grab a nice cup of coffee or tea and something delicious to eat after the service, and perhaps reach out to some other member of the Unity congregation to chat with as you would if you were down in the fellowship hall. This is also the part of the service where we typically invite you to take a moment to stand up if you're able and greet your neighbors where you are with a smile, a handshake, or a hug. Today we invite you to greet a neighbor, as I just suggested, after the service, and we're all waving at you from up here. And now let us say our statement of oneness. The power of Christ's love now releases me from any sense of separation from spirit or others. There is only one presence and one power in my life and in the universe. That one is God, the good, omnipotent.
We're going to lead into a meditation with a song by one of our congregants, by Will Hannah, called Be Still.
We're experimenting with sound on the live stream. So I'm going to pause for a moment to check the volume, and I'm going to look at Terry and see if it's okay to proceed. Okay. I'm going to invite you to this morning's meditation. So imagine that you're walking on a sidewalk, heading toward the beach. You step out onto the sand and everything shifts with each step you take, leaving you feeling unbalanced and yearning for firmer footing. Choose to give yourself a moment to settle, so you stand still. Your feet sink in and then take hold. Breathe slow, calming breaths. Close your eyes and go inside, where everything feels safer. Each breath you take lengthens and softens. You begin to feel more peaceful. Continue gently breathing in and out. You feel God's presence by whatever name calls to you. You imagine your favorite calming music playing somewhere in the background. The warmth enters deeply into you, caressing your spirit and setting you free. From this serene place you've created, know that you can regain your balance in life. Imagine taking one step. Below the sand moves a little, you're not afraid. Because you know that it will only last a few seconds, and then you'll stand as firm as before. You take the step, and everything is okay. And so you take another. You feel supported in this simple act of taking one step at a time. You feel God's presence centering and balancing you. So you take more steps and gain confidence and strength. Your breathing becomes strong and luxurious. You feel a deep sense of gratitude for your connection with the divine and with your connection with the earth beneath your feet. Gently open your eyes and breathe easily as you walk across the sand and step back onto the firm sidewalk. There is a knowingness now resting at your very core that all will be well. For you know that you are loved and cared for on this magnificent journey of life. Amen. Well, good morning again. It's a funny feeling to be here. As a speaker, you wonder sometimes whether almost no one will show up. Now I have that feeling for real. It's really great to be here, and I want to say hello to everyone that's out there, all of our friends, and thank you, Brother Will, for your beautiful song to set the stage. I'm going to ask you to imagine something. I'd like you to imagine that God, by whatever name you're most comfortable using, wants to talk with you. And imagine that you want to talk to God. And so you both decide to have a two-way conversation about anything and everything. And there's nothing that you can't discuss. Imagine being able to express all of your hopes and dreams, all of your concerns and frustrations, and everything in between. And imagine you can talk anytime that you want, and that everyone can do this, and so it becomes normal and natural. And you find that you can talk with others about your conversations, and they understand. And if you want to, you can share what you've said and what you've heard. What you just imagined is the truth for me. I've been having conversations, dialogues with God for a long time, and I want to share one with you because it may offer you a new perspective or a different way of being able to shift and see things from a new light. This particular conversation occurred May 28th, 2019. I was feeling unsettled about a few things, one of which was that I had lost weight but was having trouble maintaining it. I was tired of having to be so careful with what I ate and all of the restrictions. And I was being very candid with Leah, which is the voice of God that I speak with, and that stands for love in action, a spirit sister. And by candid, I mean expressing my frustrations. The response I received from Leah was to engage her in the process and to ask her for help. This approach seemed too simple to me, and I said so. I asked, "Are you expecting me to trust you, that you will answer me?" "Yes, of course," was her response, followed by, "Interesting how difficult it is for you to accept anything simple." I confess that was true. My life experiences have taught me not to trust simple. In fact, many of my life experiences have taught me not to trust, period. Some of them have taught me that I needed to be self-reliant, and that trusting hasn't always worked out for me, so I was reluctant. Leah offered me this advice: practice asking. Practice and watch for the results. I'm asking you to test me. Observe the results and form a trust in me. I admit that I was skeptical. Maybe you share these feelings, so I asked about my limits. Could I ask for anything that I wanted, or for everything that I wanted? I was assured by Leah the answer was yes. And she reminded me that God wants what I want, or something even better. So to go ahead and track the results, allowing some time for observation, because the something even better sometimes takes time to manifest. I was momentarily reassured by this, but soon wondered, was this too perfect a system? So I either got what I wanted and asked for, or I was going to get something even better at some point in the future. So I asked, could this possibly be true? I'm always encouraged to be honest, and so I expressed my doubts, but in not too kind a tone of voice. Did Leah become angry with me in return? No. She was as loving as always, and she told me that I cannot hurt her feelings, no matter what I say or how I say it, and encouraged me to be true to my feelings and to honor them, because she told me that that was essential in order to have honest communication. I was, and I am, extremely grateful for this. Leah reiterated that I could ask for anything, so I asked her help with my eating plan. And Leah did help me, and that gave me the incentive and the desire to ask for more things. So I started a list, and I asked for both small and large things, easy and difficult things, and began using a small notebook to keep track of the results. It's a beautiful little notebook my granddaughter made, so it's perfect for me. I admit to wondering whether all of my requests would be answered. And there was some more skepticism in me, but there was also a belief deep inside of me. And I really wanted to see if this would work. One important ask happened early in this process when Maureen and I went on a vacation to San Francisco and Hawaii. I brought along a book written by Michael Hyatt titled Platform. It's about how to get your message out into the world. The word platform simply means your target audience, those who might want to know what you have to say. The book is about 250 pages long and is cram-packed with information and action steps. I'd spent over 11 hours of flying time digesting the whole book, highlighting all the important parts and taking about 40 pages of notes, most of which was going to serve as my action plan. Well, the plane that we were on from San Francisco to Hawaii was huge. I'll borrow Billy Fusilla's word. It was huge. And instead of the conventional one-seat pocket in front of me, there were two. And you may have guessed it, but I stuck them in the one-seat pocket that I failed to check when we deplaned. They were neatly concealed and hidden. So we got off the airplane and we made it to our hotel, which was about 30 minutes away. When we arrived, I unpacked everything. No book, no notebook. And so I checked again, and nothing. And then it hit me. They were left on the plane, and they'd either been thrown away or flown away. And I thought, that's awful. And I was very upset and frustrated, and I actually stamped my foot on the floor like a 4-year-old having a temper tantrum. Creates quite a picture, doesn't it? Once my tantrum was over, I considered my options, one of which was, I could ask Leah for help in getting them back. And I remembered Leah encouraged me to test her. So I did, and that became item number 5 on my list. Well, we were going back to the airport in a couple of days because a friend of ours was going to join us for the weekend. So I decided I was going to fully engage in trusting Leah and not rush back to the airport I would just go to the ticket gate when we got there to pick up my friend. So the day finally came, and so I went to the ticket counter and I spoke with the agent. And she referred me to another one of the agents who came and got me and took me over to the lost and found section. She opened the door and she pointed the way over to a very large container. She said, "Why don't you go take a look? This is heaped with stuff, and right there on the top was my book and my notebook." Huge sigh of relief, and got to check off item number 5. The sign on the container did say lost and found, which seemed to hold at least 2 meanings for me. One is, obviously, that I recovered my items from the plane. But the deeper one applied to me as well, because prior to my relationship with Leah and my conversations, I'd have to say that a large part of me was lost. And a large part of me was now found. Currently, my test contains 106 answered requests. And I keep adding to the list all the time. There's about 7 in the test process right now. My asks span quite a spectrum, and here's a small sampling. Lots of them relate to my physical health issues, and during many of them I've learned to release resistance, and then discovered that I was often able to breathe my way with and through the pain. And I found that it actually ebbed away and receded. Other requests have raised issues in me so that I could learn from my anger and fear and impatience, finding ways to shift my feelings into compassion, hope, balance, and love. That's my visual time. In case you can't read this on screen, this is my beloved New York Giants hat. I have been a lifelong New York Giants fan. Anybody who is a fan knows who the New York Giants dislike the most out of the whole NFL. If you don't know, it's the Dallas Cowboys. So as a lifelong New York Giants fan, I was shocked to discover that while on the same Hawaii vacation, that Maureen and I both fell in love with a family of Dallas Cowboy fans. So if that isn't proof, I don't know what is. I found this to be an extremely rewarding process, and I've discovered many things, 3 of which I'd really like to share with you right now. First, as I mentioned before, it's so helpful for me to remember Leah's statement to me that God wants what I want or something even better. That takes a little explaining. It's often helpful for me to know that I'm not doing any of this by myself, and that it's Leah's fondest wish and desire to do everything with me. Not for me, but with me. And to know we have a beautiful relationship. We are working together for our greatest good. My takeaway from all of this is that when we at Unity talk about the universe guiding and supporting us in all ways, it's just another way of saying that we are loved and that we can rely on whatever name we use for God to love us and care for us. I try to keep this in mind, but sometimes concerns do pop up. One concern for me is, what if I ask for something and it doesn't happen? So I asked Leah about this. Her response was that part of me is worried that she, Leah, will fail me and won't deliver on her promise, because we as humans fail each other. so I worry that she'll do the same. I tell her that that part of the statement, or something even better, seems sort of like a disclaimer to me. A way of her always being right. Because she can claim that she gave me what I asked for, or that something even better is coming. And sometimes the things I've asked for are the relief of pain, discomfort, and suffering. And of course, I want to feel better immediately. She points out to me that when I have only one acceptable response, that it leaves no room for my greater good. It's impossible for that to arrive, and that part of the process is having faith that she loves me and always wants the best for me. I've come to realize that I have to be open and accepting, and that while I view life from my very limited perspective, Leah sees and knows everything, including what will best serve me. So I try to keep this in mind. Second, I recognize that it is essential for me to live inside the process of conceiving, believing, and taking action, so that when I ask for anything, that I do so with the expectation that I will receive what I've requested. I've asked Leah, that creative force in the universe, to provide me with the object of my request, and she's promised to give it to me, or that which serves me better. I find that my expectation of fulfillment adds belief to my power. Once I asked Leah, would it be helpful for me to visualize the outcome I'm requesting? Leah responded with a very enthusiastic yes. She told me that this is how you live a life of intention. It's how you unleash all your innate creativity and how you breathe life into your dreams, thereby making them real. Leah is alive in the process. She's the energy that sparks everything and the source of the transition from asking to requesting, to receiving, I mean. She works through our passions and desires, helping them to take shape. This process is enhanced each time we live with the expectation that our request will be received, and when we carry the feelings and ideas of them in our hearts. And third, I've discovered that what was a previously missing ingredient in the process for me, and that is to express my gratitude in advance. Now, as soon as I ask for anything, I offer my thanks in advance for the receipt of my request. I'm convinced that this is the key, and that it completes a sacred circle of belief. I believe what is said in Luke chapter 11, verses 9 and 10, where Brother Yeshua is speaking to a host of listeners, stating first, I say to you, ask, and it shall be given to you. Knock, and you shall find. Seek, and it shall be given to you. These beautiful, reassuring statements tell us what Yeshua, another part of God, another part of Leah, says is the truth. I've come to realize that every time I accept what the world teaches me, I live in fear and doubt. But when I shift and believe what Leah is telling me, I know that I am loved, and that together we have unlimited power, that we can do everything and anything. With Leah, I have the opportunity to choose my direction and take the path that feels right to me. I can, of course, move forward with the path that my head suggests and continue listening to the world. or I can follow my heart and choose the path of freedom and remember that no matter what I choose, I'm always loved and every door is always open to me. Originally, my message was going to end right here, but given all that is happening in the world right now, I wanted to add one more thing. I wonder if there is anyone who doesn't feel somewhat off balance right now. Is there anyone who is not concerned about their health and the health of their loved ones? It can be extremely challenging to believe that all will be well, especially if you're prone to listening or watching the constant stream of scary news. Perhaps everyone wonders what to do next. I can't answer for anyone but me, but I can share with you what I chose to do, so I asked Leah for guidance and help. And here's what she said to me. Remember, it's important for you to feel all of your feelings. It's okay to scream and cry and be angry and afraid and to express your worries. And once you're done with this, it's okay to let them go. And to release all of the energy and the power that they hold. Then come to me and rest. And ask for whatever you want or need, knowing it's my fondest desire to live in and through you. So I encourage you to ask for all things with the expectation that you will be answered, and to offer your thanks and gratitude in advance. Remember that at times the answer that serves you best may take a while to appear, but to live in trust knowing that one will always arrive because you are loved. Thank you.
Thank you, Rod. Song to sing to respond to Rod's message today. It's called I Am the One Who Knew.
truth in beauty, the answer to the Spirit's call. I have the infinite presence, I am the Holy One. I am the truth in beauty, the answer to the Spirit's call. The answer to the Spirit's call. The answer to the Spirit's call.
We come to our offering time now. And I'm going to mention that there's a worldwide event today to take 2 minutes at noon, our time, to pray for a miracle. So we're going to be looking at the clock while we're singing our offering song. I may just break in the middle of the song and do that and come back to the song. We'll see how it goes. There's a slide for it up there. Pray for a miracle, 2 minutes of global prayer. So we're going to go into our offering first and invite you to find what you'd like to offer this morning. You can do that by going to a donate button on PayPal from our website or send in a check, whatever you'd like to do. And we'll say together our offering statement. Together,
Divine love flowing through me, blesses and multiplies all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive. We are blessed to know that Spirit is our source. Thank you, Father, and so it is.
I'm grateful to Mark Shepard for this song, because it too. All I am grateful.
I
Rob said that gratitude should precede our prayer. In time. Sing our last verse.
I'm grateful for the love I feel within this place, and the hope that I still have for the human race. I am grateful for the days when I still have the grace. My beloved Mother Earth, with the sun upon my face. I am grateful, yes I am grateful, yes I am grateful for you. I am grateful, yes I am grateful, yes I am grateful for you. We are grateful. We are grateful. We are grateful for you. Each and every one of you. We are grateful, yes we are grateful, yes we are. We are grateful for you. I am grateful, yes I am grateful, yes I am grateful for you. Each and every one of you. I am grateful, yes I am grateful, yes I am grateful for you.
Take a moment to bless our offering. We give you thanks, Father and Mother God, for all the gifts that we have, all the gifts that flow from each of our hearts, all the gifts that have been shared today and will be shared for this community, in support of this work here, for all the gifts that each of us shares this week in every way that we do. Bless all of these offerings. In the name of love and action, amen.
Amen.
We have a closing song. One that we thought of last week as we started the service and didn't get to do. And it seems perfect to share together. Health, wholeness, and happiness. Our wish for each of us, each one of you. One, two, three. sing us today for Gerri, for Peggy, for Carol and Pete, and for me, and for Rob sharing the message, and for Terry back there helping us with the singing. Thank all of you for tuning in. And we'll say together, prayer for protection. The light of God surrounds us.
The love of God enfolds us. The power of God protects us. And the presence of God watches over us. Wherever we are, God is, and all is well. Amen.
Health, wholeness, and happiness to everyone. Blessings.